seconds to introduce the luge insert mutators.
antholz-anterselva, the venue for the 6th round of the Biathlon World Cup action, and the schedule for today, just the women's pursuit coming up, 111 starters in all. Well, this the highest of the resorts. We're going to be with the race in just a moment, but before we do, we're going to catch up with the World Cup luge action, and then we'll be back with the biathlon.
Terrific performance earlier as well from Silke Otto, the German veteran, claimed her 7th win in Winterberg in the World Cup. She just keeps getting better and better. 3 Germans in the top 4. Second spot on the podium taken by a German as well, Silke Krauser. And then a terrific run from Ashley Hayden of the United States. She finished 3rd. Barbara Niederhuber of Austria claims the overall lead in the standings. Krauser 2nd, Otto 3rd.
So thanks for the luge information. Back on the biathlon now, and the atmosphere building in the Antholz Stadium. We've had a crowd, but not been that raucous so far. But for the weekend, we're expecting plenty of people to come and watch the action. The women's sprint today, the pursuits coming up tomorrow for both men and women. Frank Look, as always, has been out on the course, and this is what he makes of the conditions and the favourites for today's race. He says, well, 111 athletes have entered today's event. Very good conditions indeed. It's been a little colder overnight, -6, -7 degrees. The trails are in perfect condition, and well, the winds at the range at the moment, very calm indeed, but as he says, that could change in no time at all. He says the favourites coming out of Germany, Russia and Norway as always, but you've got to add Elena Zabrilova to that list now, and maybe even the Chinese Lu, who got a very good run in Ruhpolding. Anna-Karin Olofsson of Sweden also worth making a note of. She's going early on today. And then Sandrine Bay of France, the other top performer that doesn't fall into the German, Russian or Norwegian team. So we'll see how it goes. I think he's covered about just the 10, 15 best biathletes in the world. So no bold predictions there. Anyone else, Mike, who you think we should watch out for?
Well, I'm looking further down the list, and although she's not in great skiing form right now, Giseva. Remember last year, as a very outsider, as a surprise win, she came here and had a 1st place and a 2nd place. Not on form, as I say, but she's at the back and may well make it happen again.
Well, we'll see if that happens. We can tell you that the majority of the top seeds have decided to go into Group 2 again. That's from start number 39 through to 76. We've got Simone Denkinger, who is in Group 3 simply because the German squad is so strong. But she goes 77. She drew the 1st number in that Group 3. And then in Group 4, Petrova and Guseva, who Mike's just mentioned, going 96, 97. So they're really the 2 that we hope will keep this event alive. But with a very strong group of skiers going off 62 through to 75, I think that's where the race is going to be won and lost.
Well, big factor today is the lack of wind. Hasn't been much in the way of perfect shooting over the last couple of days, but the flags are hardly moving, and in the earlier 0 where they test the rifles in for each day's conditions, certainly very stable.
Well, the big peaks around here, up to 3,000 metres, can generate a lot of wind. I'm not quite sure whether it's anabatic or katabatic, but it's one of those temperature-induced winds, and it usually picks up at around 2 o'clock. At the moment it's calm, but maybe it's just an hour late today. We'll have to wait and see. It certainly made the event yesterday, the men's sprint, very interesting indeed, and a couple of the athletes can feel somewhat aggrieved that they got the worst of the conditions.
Yeah, that's luck of the draw, really, and you have to take it as it is. Just have a quick look at the transponders, which every athlete wears on just above their boot, in fact, and that passes information to the coaching staff and in fact back to us in the commentary booths on exactly how each one of these athletes are getting on.
Svetlana Ishmaratova back in the Russian team for today's event. Going to be very interesting to see how she gets on. The Russians now have a strong enough squad. If someone's not on form or if there's any sign of illness, they just pull them out, and they won't come back until they're 100% fit. Svetlana Shanousova was proof of that. She's on great form. Ishmaratova is back, so we're expecting something special from her. Not good news from the Norwegian camp. Greta Poré still out of action. She's not going to be racing. I think just really tired. And for me, she's looked tired ever since we went to Oslo.
And in her own mind, as we're looking at the course, Greta Poré feels that she believes she's overtrained. And I think this period of couple of weeks will just recharge her batteries. It's the old usual 2.5 kilometre course, which for many years has been the men's relay. And there's a little chicane there. I'm sure we'll get pictures of that. Down, under the bridge, and back in to shoot. And that's 3 times 2.5 kilometres.
So 7.5 kilometres in all. And what are we expecting a time? 25 minutes. That would be reasonably quick in these conditions. But remember, we're at altitude. We've had a lot of snow over the last few days. So the tracks, although they've been well pressed, they're certainly going to break up a little on the steep uphills. Interesting as well, it's quite dry, little snowflakes coming down now, which is more aggressive than the damper snow which has been laying down there for the last couple of hours. Could make a little difference to the early starters. So everyone has been through the warm-up process. The skis are checked, the rifles, the trigger pressure has all been checked, the rifles marked, and now it's just a question of psyching yourself up for what is the final sprint before they get a 2.5 week break. Well, they'll be starting in just a couple of minutes' time. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Trin. Welcome back to Antholz. The start number just been reduced by 1 since we've been away. Elena Petreva has announced that she will not be racing for the Ukraine today. That's a sad occasion, and I guess the Ukrainian team will be a little disappointed that Elena Zabrilova is not racing for them. Instead, Zabrilova switched across to Belarus. But my goodness, was she on form 2 days ago? There's another woman that was on form. Olofsson of Sweden, just starting to mature as a biathlete, former cross-country skier. Very similar program she's following to that of Magdalena Forsberg, and anyone who's been with us for the last 5 seasons or so will know all about Forsberg.
Just looking at Wilhelm as Adele Turner for Britain gets into her starting blocks. Yeah, Wilhelm was consuming some food there, probably an energy bar or something similar, because she's only got a few minutes before she sets out. In fact, 14 or 15 minutes before Wilhelm goes, and she's still eating. It's still, yeah, a little close to the start time for me, but I imagine it will only be a couple of mouthfuls just to I don't know, maybe a psychological thing. But we're underway. Peeps it is for Estonia, the first go in her 6th race of the season, and if she gets herself into the top 60, that will be an exceptional day's work, and that means finishing pretty much halfway up the field. 111, in fact we're down to 110, so 1 place easier for her to make the top 60, but that's what she needs to qualify for tomorrow's pursuit event. Chinese taking this more and more seriously. They really have made great advances over the last couple of seasons. Starovic of Croatia. The Croatians, just 2 skiers in today's event. Bradic going at 47, and as a minor team, Mike, with only two members, it's so difficult to score good points. It is indeed, and both 17 years old as well, the Croatians. Good luck to them. Well, let's hope that they come up through the rankings and start to feature. Katja Beer has been there before. 4 times she's been on the podium, so don't be surprised if you see her putting in a very good start from Dresden. 22nd in the World Cup standings at the moment for Katja Beer, and she'll be hoping that she can finish in the top 3 of the German performances, just to impress the man you saw on your screens there, Uwe Mussigang. She's certainly pretty reliable on the range, with 90% hit rates in the lying down and 85 in the standing, and we always can expect her to shoot so fast, which will help her today in the sprint. Katja Beer heading out of the stadium. Adele Turner of Great Britain just starting now. Adele was rested for the 20 kilometre. Just Ed Nicol, the coach, possibly feeling that her shooting hasn't been that great, Adele. Maybe just resting her to allow her to charge up for this one. Natalie Santa just warming up. She's a local girl, just lives 20 kilometres down the road. Well, we haven't seen much from Natalie Santa so far this year, but she started the individual race very fast indeed, but faded away. Has had problems with a standing shoot, and that's been the same for
Adele Turner, who's out on the course. Sandra Keith of Canada from Canmore has also gone, looking for a top 30. That would be a PB for her. And next to go, it's Anna Spring, former junior world champion. 3 gold medals she took at that level, but has never really converted that into senior performances. And I'm just wondering whether it's too late now.
It must be difficult for Anna, as you say, being at the top of the pile at the age of 18 and 19-year-old. Now 29. She has had a lot of respectable World Cup results, and I'm sure she'll be looking for her top 10 today. That's a certainty. Cameras are focusing on the Chinese. Have a look how they warm up and so on.
Well, it's the results of the likes of Liu and, of course, Zhang in the men's event that have created this interest. And it's got to be good for the sport. Liu, of course, finishing second in the pursuit event last weekend in Ruhpolding. So close to her first ever World Cup victory. Took a fall with 500 metres to go. It was a very cruel fate. Plieva taking full advantage of that and pulling in the full 50 points. Aggressive start here from Katipia. 7.5 kilometres, remember the distance. 2 shoots, first in the prone, second in the standing. I'm sure most of you are aware of that, but if we've got some new viewers, I'm sure you want to know something about the sport rather than just listening to the names and the results.
A lot going on before each one of these athletes starts. You have to mark the skis, you have to check the rifle in the hour before you start, or before the race itself starts, and then mark your skis up, get your poles, the length of them tested against your total body height, and your skis marked.
What's the ruling on the length of the pole at the moment?
Length of the pole, it's not to be greater than your total height as you stand in your ski boots.
So that's not very long with you. I mean, do you think that's a disadvantage? I mean, being slightly smaller, do you think you should be allowed to have longer poles?
No, I think it's proportional to everybody. And I have tried, and there was a phase where everyone tried these huge ski poles, the same as your height, and you begin to use your upper body too much.
Yeah,
it takes away from the legs, so it's never going to go that way.
And if you cast your mind back to 1985, when Gunnar Svan turned up at the World Championships in Seefeld with one pole about 2.5 metres long, and everyone suddenly thought that they ought to go and find one. But I think he was just playing games with the rest of the cross-country field on that occasion.
Look at Katja Beer today. She really is on a mission. It is a short race. You have to hit it hard, but she's gone out like lightning.
Well, we've missed a few of the starters. Fremova has gone for Ukraine, Popova, Kong, Haller, and now Xinglang Lu of China, 11th in the World Cup standing. She hasn't been out of the top 30 all season, and only on two occasions has she been out of the top 20, so having a brilliantly consistent season, and Lu surely is going to win an event before too long.
Oh, that was interesting, and some of the local Antholz spectators flying the Chinese flag, and big smile on their faces. They want her to win.
Now here comes the comeback kid, Svetlana Ishmaradova, back on course. She's been out since the 10th of January, not racing since then, so maybe a little bit rusty, but if she can get a reasonable result in this sprint, then maybe we'll see her back to something like her best tomorrow in the pursuit.
It's interesting with these Russian girls who live way over in the far east of Russia, in Siberia. When they went back at Christmas, they could not physically train for the whole period because it was far too cold. They couldn't ski, they couldn't go out jogging, so the form in Oberhof ski-wise was a little slow, but they came back last week, and now look at Plieva. That rest has done her a whole lot of good, especially her shooting.
Well, that means the temperatures are down to around -30. Racing-wise, illegal to race below -18. Training-wise, they'll still go out at -20, but anything lower than that, and you're in great danger of inducing a cold asthma, I think they call it, and creating breathing problems.
It's certainly painful as well, and also the shooting when it's below -15. The barrels are all affected and are really not as accurate as they are at, say, 0 to -15.
Now, here is perhaps the biggest star of them all, Uschi Diesel of Germany. Such an incredible start to the season, but she's dropped away a little since then, now lying 4th in the World Cup rankings. She needs a win here today, but looking over her history, she's only got one of her 28 wins has come here in Antholz, so the odds aren't that good. I'm not convinced that she enjoys racing up at this altitude.
Indeed, I think really her shooting was the angle 2 days ago. She missed 4 and skied into 8th place, starting relatively slowly.
15 of a field of 110 have started here in Antholz, and the winner from 2 days ago, Elena Zabrilova, just getting out of her warming suit. The warm-up done at this stage. Now just a chance to recheck all the equipment and make sure everything is right. We've seen people in a real rush to get ready, particularly in the relays, Mike. 1 or 2 athletes this year not being ready for the handover, which is infuriating if you've just put in a good leg to find that your teammate's nowhere to be seen.
Very depressing indeed. Well, good chance to see that we have limited wind, 0 kilometers per hour, and that'll make Katia happy. She's adjusting though, adjusting her sights, 3 clicks to the left.
I think she went 1 back to the right as well.
Doesn't come much better than that. Fast, accurate. Well done, Katia Beer. She's skiing fast out there, holds the 3rd fastest time at the 1.2 kilometer mark. Dead centre twice. 3rd time. That's fantastic shooting. A little bit low right for the last one. I think your average club shooter would be happy with that, with their summer shooting rifles.
Bushy Diesel out on the course, looks focused but doesn't seem to be flowing quite as well as Katia Beer early on, but using a slightly different technique. She'll use the skate 2 for a lot longer than the likes of Beer when it comes to the uphills. Here we see Ishmaradova using what is known as skate 1, and certainly the most efficient way to climb the steeper hills. Ishmaradova starting number 12. She's got Xingyang Lu in front of her to chase. That's a really good start position. And Andrea Koblar of Slovenia started behind, but looks to have closed down a few seconds on the Russian. So maybe Ishmaradova not really back to her best, but we won't get a full picture until she comes through for the first shoot. Anna Sprung, fingers crossed for a clear shoot for the Austrian. That's much better, much better, and Sprung will be delighted with that. Let's hope she stays confident for the second shoot. Early start, she's got a 76% hit rate so far in the prone and slightly better in the standing, so maybe she can clear both targets. Away goes the winner from Thursday, Elena Zabrilova. Very quick indeed, but she really won the day with her clear shoot, Mike. Only 2 women out of the field of 110 going clear in the individual. Zabrilova and, just trying to remember who it was, Pilieva, of course, who went clear.
Who came 3rd. That is unusual. Less than 2% of the best biathletes in the world. That just shows how tough it was to hit the targets.
Well, the other statistic that proved that as well was the fact that over 34% missed 6 targets or more.
That is unusual, absolutely unheard of, really, in individuals. Indication of the conditions. Just looking at some shooting times, Katia Beer was 32 seconds. I thought she might be faster, but Starovic, the young Croatian, taking 1 minute and 2 seconds, so immediately losing 30 seconds just in the time it's taken to shoot.
Ishmaradova coming up to 2.3 kilometres, as suspected. A little off the pace in the opening stages, 6.08. Well, it's competitive. 21 seconds down. She's, 150 metres or so adrift of the lead, which at this stage is a significant margin.
Without a doubt. Maybe resting her, or having, as you said, not raced for the last couple of races, she could be a bit off race form. You lose that feeling.
Yeah. I can think of better resorts to come and to make a comeback as well. Coming up to Antholz, very painful. I think she'll be feeling a little nauseous at the end of this run today. Now,
indeed, I would love to see the pulse on Lou's watch. Can almost see it when the camera zoomed in. I would imagine she's about 10 beats per minute off her maximum.
Interesting that they haven't picked up on that, Mike. Might be written in Chinese. So 3 out of 5. Good skiing, but bad shooting from Lou. I think that's her chance of a win gone. But she's got to keep fighting because, of course, her result today determines where she starts in the pursuit event. Number 3, Katy Beer on her second loop. And it won't be too long before she comes in for her second shoot as well. She's going to be finished before Anna-Karin Olofsson even starts, I suspect. Olofsson going off at number 9 today. Now, Ishmaradova, has the slow skiing helped her shooting? She's seen her teammate Shona Usova win her first World Cup. Oh, what a shame, what a shame.
She's disappointed. Who wants to ski an extra 150 metres?
Now, Koblar has skied that little bit quicker than Ishmaradova. 7:56 the time she's after, and got just 10 seconds or so to clear the range. That's not going to happen. Look how she's taken the index finger out of the glove, so she's got skin contact on the trigger.
That was good with the wind making it slightly difficult, slight breeze there. She coped well. Uwe Musagang doesn't look too happy. Well, his athlete Katy Beer's leading so far.
Well, some things never change. Mike Diesel coming in and changing the sights before the first shot. Not sure she will have appreciated her name coming over the tannoy, and it hasn't helped her either.
It is a strange fact that when you hear your name when you're shooting, it's the only thing that penetrates your thinking.
Yeah, no, I think that was a little unfair. We saw it in America last year with the announcer in the habit of announcing everyone just as they were starting to shoot, and I really think that shows a lack of consideration, and Diesel has paid a heavy price. This is a shot, I think, that missed.
Probably high. It is high.
So 4 out of 5 for Uschi Diesel. She's got some skiing to do now. One penalty loop for the German, and she's still very quick indeed. Anna Sprung's time of 8:11 is not quite going to be beaten. 8:23 for Uschi Diesel, and she'll be a little bit depressed that Katy Wilhelm is now right on her tail. Surely it can't be Wilhelm who's got through that quickly. Maybe Wilhelm just starting her race. I think that's what it is, number 31. But Wilhelm will be a little bit nervous, I think, before she comes in for her first shoot. She missed 4 in the first shoot of the individual, so that surely will have a psychological effect on her. Now, Katy Beer first in to take the second shot in the standing position, down the far end of the range, away from the commentary boxes, and generally in the protected area. But as you can see, the wind's still quite strong. I think that dewdrop's putting her off. Well, good to concentrate and get the last target. So 4 out of 5, a total of 9 for Katy Beer. Now, what can Brankovic do for Slovenia?
She's just adjusted her sights. First shot going wild, going off. Having a great season though, Brankovic.
Yeah, back to form. She got a personal best just earlier this year, getting a second place. But that's not the sort of start she was after, so maybe one of the other Slovenians will come through and take the honours today.
Although it's only 150 metres, it takes time, and it takes a little bit of energy out of you. You think, well, I could have skied straight on here, but I've got to take a right turn. And some of the athletes have actually been on there for 3 penalty loops so far.
Interesting to see Beer using a standard skating technique to get round the loop, Mike, so she's had to go a little bit wider to use that inside ski. If you watch Bjorn Dahlen and certainly Lars Berger, the inside ski will hug the bollards right the way round. They don't want to travel an inch further than they have to. That's a question of balance and confidence and maybe strength as well.
And I think it shows a sharpness for the race line. You want to take of course, the shortest distance around any part of the track.
Now, here's someone who hopes she won't be on the penalty loop. Very quick first shot. She's already taken a win here in Antholz, and Zabrilova has had the best possible start. 7:56 the quickest time. Zabrilova's going to be within 4 or 5 seconds of that time set by Kata Beer, but we know that Beer has missed on the second shoot, so a chance for the Belarusian to set the standard. Great skiing, looking very, very composed indeed.
Well, I think it just shows the speed that Katia Beer went round that first 2.5. Of course, Katia shoots a little bit faster.
Now, we've seen in both the men and the women's French teams new names coming in, and I think it's long overdue that they get a run at World Cup level, the youngsters, and a chance to show what they can do. Very good from Mingere.
That is good indeed. Yeah, when they've lost Neo Gray, having retired at the end of last season, the French are very sensible bringing the new talent in.
Wilhelm and Diesel together, and a clear shoot, producing a very good time indeed. Diesel in 4th at the moment. Mingere goes into 5th. Mazunina in 6th position, the first of the Norwegians, Istad Christiansen. Oh. Now, she had a bit of a nightmare in the individual as well, missed 9 out of 20, and things haven't got a lot better. 2 misses for Istad, 300 metres to ski. That's 50 seconds effectively added to her time. Now, Ivanova, it's all action with only a 3-kilometre loop. We will spend most of our time on the range area, but it would be nice to see some of the skiing out on the course.
Yeah, this is fast from Ivanova. Well, she'll be delighted with that. Probably go out, what, 10 seconds slower than Beer at the checkpoint.
She's not far off, and if anything, she's just slightly inside Elena Zabrilova, who's in 2nd place at the moment. The clock will stop in around 20 metres time. 8:08 the time she needs if she wants to go into 2nd. 8:03, very close indeed, just 6 seconds off the pace, and the best bit of skiing we've seen so far this year from Ivanova. Now, can Lou make up for those 2 misses early on? Skiing very fast indeed. Mike, she's picked up time on Katia Beer.
Oh, Lou's skiing is so fast. She's trying to push this as hard as possible, but just picked up the one error. Yeah, it is a great ski speed again. This girl looks so strong. Dynamic power. Every time that she transfers her weight over and kicks hard, there, pressing down all her body weight, there's just a dynamic spring about her. We've got the Mexican team here.
Now, Ishmaradova for her 2nd shoot. Well-balanced position. And a beautiful result. 9 out of 10 for Ishmaradova as well. 16:28. She's going to be just outside Beer's time, but the chase is on, and we're going to find out whether Ishmaradova was just starting easy and winding into a race, or whether she really isn't on form, because I think she could make a chase with Katia Beer. Katia Beer certainly gave it everything from the start, and I suspect will be getting slower. So that could be a good battle to take the lead in the early stage of this race. Ushi Diesel even faster than Ishmaradova, but still breathing very heavily indeed. Wilhelm in the top right-hand corner of your screen, rattling through her prone targets.
Ushi, on the other hand, she's desperate to get more air on board, trying to hold each shot as long as she can, but you begin to run out of air. That's what happens.
Well, that is not the performance of someone who wants to win the overall World Cup this year. What a shame. At least she can still smile. She's been here so many times. Some you win, some you lose. It's one of the bad days for Uschi Diesel. 4 misses in the standing. Wilhelm, on the other hand, has gone clear. 7:58. Only the second person to go under 8 minutes on the first split time. So Wilhelm is obviously on a mission, and the sprint event is her forte. Olympic champion, was the world champion, didn't win the title last year. All the golds going the way of Liv Greta Poiré. And there is another German who's got a very good chance of doing well today. Martina Glago, probably better at the individuals, Mike. Her shooting is her strength, but in the last couple of years the skiing has gone up 4 or 5%.
It has, and her running times and her mountain biking times in the summer training, she really has improved all round, but not really translated yet into her skiing.
Now Arpel was well inside the lead time of Beer. 10th in the World Cup standings. Fairly standard for Arpel over the last 5 seasons or so, but 3 misses, and it's not going to be her day. No, I don't think we can blame that one on the weather conditions.
Well, I think this race is such a short race. You have to go through all the procedures fast. You have to get into position fast and shoot fast if you want to win. But if you push it too hard, then you pick up these mistakes. Well, Katja could well be setting the lead time for quite a long time. She has slowed down this last 2.5, but who wouldn't, pushing the speed she was in the first couple of loops.
7:56 when she came out of the range for the first time, and she's going to come in a time sub 24 minutes, which is very impressive indeed. 23:43, and as the first finisher, she obviously takes the top spot for now. Now, Uschi Diesel on her charge home, but 5 misses, too much for the great champion. She's not going to be able to make up for that. 1 minute 29 behind. 5 misses, Mike. 25 times 5. We're talking a couple of minutes. So she's skiing fast enough, but really, even Diesel can only afford to miss 1 if she really wants a realistic crack at winning.
Absolutely. She's 1 minute 29 off the leader. You'd expect Uschi maybe to get back to 1 minute 5 seconds off the winner, which would put her in 6th place right now.
Coach loads of buses have come down from southern Germany and from areas such as Oberhof, just to watch the races here in Antholz. So a large percentage of the crowd from Germany, a few from Austria, and I dare say a few from Slovenia as well. Now, big moment for Elena Zabrilova, clear on the first shoot, 8 out of 8 so far. Is she going to make it 2 wins in succession? Well, she's got a very good chance. The first to go clear. Elena Zabrilova is back to her best. Remarkable how when she skis well, she shoots well.
The form, it's incredible. It's a mind game. As soon as you know that you can get on the top of the podium, it brings everything together. You know you have to make it happen. And she really is putting it together so well today. Once again, perfect race 2 days ago. And the perfect race today. I wonder if it's going to be fast enough.
Well, if no one else shoots clear, she's got a very good chance. Here comes Anna Sprung, has lost a little bit of time in the closing stages. 1 miss today, the same as Katja Beer, but she's just about 30 seconds outside the leading time. 30.7 the difference. Not a bad run for Sprung. I think she could find herself starting within a minute of the leader in the pursuit event, and that will give her a good crack at pulling up into the top 10 positions. Mina Ray misses 2. Martina Glago slightly bizarre there, Mike. She had 5 targets down, but 1 indicating a miss. So we'll have to wait for confirmation on Glago's performance if you're one of her fans. Good to see Guisdon back to her shooting form. 3 seasons ago, she was the best on the tour. She's gone clear today and will be making a chase on Elena Zabrilova.
Glago absolutely powering away. 3rd place.
7:58, only 2 seconds off the leader. Guisdon coming out, Zabrilova's time 16:02. She's only going to be 10 seconds or so outside the leaders. That's a very good ski indeed. She's even closer than that. 8 seconds to make up.
Oh, what a day for Poland if she could pick up those 8 seconds and go into 1st place. Might not last the whole race, but
if I was a coach, I don't think I'd tell her that she was only 8 seconds behind Zabrilova. I think I'd just say you're 8 seconds off the lead, because it might be a bit of a daunting task, rather like being told to chase Bjorndalen.
It's a good point when you know Zabrilova's on form. Ivanova's on form as well from the Belarus. In fact, when you look at all the Belarus ski times, just the last 10 days or so, their skiing has improved so much. Rishenkov in the 20 kilometre for the men had the fastest last 4 kilometres. An indication of your form way coming up.
Oh, shame about that last shot. Istad Christensen nearly made up for those 2 misses in the prone, but 3 penalty loops in all. The same for Xingyang Lu of China. Now, what she managed to do in the skiing, it's been very good indeed. She's not that far off the lead. Phenomenal run from Lu, as quick as she was at the start of the season, and she's going to slot into 2nd position, despite the fact that she's missed 3. So when she hits all the targets, Mike, surely we're going to see her challenging again for a win.
That's one amazing ski speed out there, Patrick, especially her last loop. She knew she'd been round that loop, penalty loop 3 times, and had to make up some time. 7 seconds, amazing.
Ishmaradova coming in now, as you can see, already outside the time of Katja Beer. Lu's time of 23:51. Is she going to get there? It's going to be tight. I think the Chinese is just going to stay in 2nd. She does. 23:52. Exactly a second between the 2 of them, but that's a good run. I think Ishmaradova will be satisfied with the way it's turned out today. Coming back, her 1st race since January the 10th, so she's had 12 days off from racing, and I'm sure she enjoyed every single one of them.
Absolutely, indeed she would have.
Now, Kati Wilhelm, she's quick. 16:02, the time she's after. If she goes clear, she'll have a comfortable lead over Zabrilova.
This is an incredible ski time. Look at that, she's not even on 15 minutes yet.
Big shot. Oh, she's got it. Kati Wilhelm has gone clear, and surely that is going to be a new lead time. 16:02 from Zabrilova. 100 metres or so to go before the clock will stop. Musikang can't help but smile. He's trying his hardest not to, but just the side of his mouth going up a little. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, because he knows that he has a world beater here with Kati Wilhelm. When she is on ski form, she can match the likes of Liv Greta Poiré, even when Poiré is on her best. 15:29, 33 seconds inside. She's got an advantage of 200 metres or more. She's only got to cover another 3,000. Shona Usova wearing 55, just being overtaken by Martina Glago. That's a very good sign for the German team to see Glago just cruising past the Russian champion. Holubachova, highlight of her career, of course, when she won the world title in Khanty-Mansiysk. Took us all by surprise. And we haven't really seen that sort of form again.
No, she's coming back though. The last couple of races she's been moving forward rather than backwards on the result sheet, and I would imagine that's a top 15 place for Holubachova today. Well, Ushi will be so disappointed, having been round that loop which she's skiing past 5 times. A lot of punishment for the mistakes, and it's expensive. I would imagine she'll be the fastest skier again today, but you just can't win the races missing 5. 50% of the targets. Just looking at the prone shooting, later starter number 46 Hao from China, although she's picked up 1 penalty, only 21 seconds behind.
So if she can go clean on the second shoot and keep that sort of speed going, then she could certainly challenge for a top 3 today. She started number 46. It's going to be a while before she's in for her second shoot.
Rapid fire from Kati Beer. Sorry, Henkel. Kati, of course, went start number 3. But for that first shot, it was very good. Wind flag's moving just a little bit. Shouldn't be too much to affect the athletes today.
Now, Elena Zabrilova coming in to finish. What has she managed to do over the last gap? 33 seconds ahead with just under 3 kilometers to go. Zabrilova now charging in towards the finish. We switch back to Wilhelm, who's got an advantage of 38 seconds. She is pushing very, very hard indeed. This is a brilliant ski from Wilhelm, and maybe we're going to see her take her first win of the season. But Zabrilova surely going to take the lead when she comes in. 23.43. She's an age inside that. She's almost going to be 40 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Brilliant shooting and an excellent ski as well. Zabrilova has done her best to make it 2 wins in a row. But remember, Kati Wilhelm is out on the course with almost a 40-second advantage over Zabrilova.
Oh, look at the speed. Well, Kati has picked up a further 5 seconds on Zabrilova from the time she left the range to 1 kilometer into this track of 2.5.
A lot of phlegm coming off the chin of Kati Wilhelm. Not a pretty sight, Mike, but also an indication maybe that the lungs are struggling to cope with the conditions and the work rate that she's putting in.
She's on her limit, absolutely. And the altitude, again, we've mentioned it before, but your lungs do suffer up here. Like a burning pain in the top of your lungs when you're trying to suck as much air in as possible.
Is that possibly a sign that she's overtrained, needs a little bit of a rest, or...?
I don't think so. No, she's just pushing beyond her normal today because she really has a feeling this is her race, and it does. It brings some magic out of you.
Now, Martina Glago in the top right-hand side of your screen, clear on the prone. Skiing well. Oh, she's just thrown number 9 wide. Cleans up number 10, so one mistake for Martina Glago for the day. That ruins her chance of chasing down Kati Wilhelm because she's come the closest to it. Great ski from Gwizdon of Poland, who's come in second position, 23.18 the time, 16.5 seconds slower than Zabrilova, but a good last lap from Gwizdon to prove that she is capable of top 5 or 6.
She certainly isn't. A big audience in Poland, and they can feel proud today. As Gwizdon is 16 seconds behind, but second place.
15.45. Glago would have been just 3 or 4 seconds outside Kati Wilhelm's time. So a real shame that she doesn't get an opportunity to chase it down. I think this is the one that went wide. Low left. And she was safe enough with the 5th shot. That went down successfully. So a rare miss from Martina Glago. 16.06, 36.5 seconds outside, but she's got some chasing to do if she wants to overtake Zabrilova. That's going to be a fascinating battle. Well, this will be another interesting ski coming up from Olga Pilieva, the World Cup leader. What a season she is having. So consistent. 444 points to her name. Zaitseva in second place. Incidentally, Zaitseva not racing today with 373. Kati Wilhelm 369. So a 71-point lead for Olga Pilieva at the top of the table. So whatever happens, she's going to stay in yellow for the pursuit tomorrow. Now, is Anna Olofsson going to produce another good run? A good feeling?
Good feeling. A little bit slow on this first 2.5 kilometres. Could be her strategy to take it steady, make sure she hits these first 5 and then begin to open up the race. It's looking good.
Well done. Excellent. Well done. That's great. And I know a lot of people delighted to see Olofsson coming through, particularly Susan Barnes, who's a long-time fan. Used to be a big fan of Magdalena Forsberg, but delighted to see that the Swedes have another potential winner on the circuit in the form of Anna-Karin Olofsson. And I don't think it's going to be too long before we see her back on the podium. Kari Wilhelm, astonishing run, 22.07. She has blown the field apart with that ski. I think that's unbeatable. 54 seconds inside. Pilieva is going to have to go for rapid fire and produce the ski of her season to win.
That's amazing. Kati absolutely desperate to win this one, and 54 seconds is so much from Zubrilova's perfect shooting time as well. But what a race.
Well, we've still got plenty of big names to come, but looking down the list, I can't see anyone there who is really fast enough. Maybe Linda Scherholm, who's skiing pretty well. She's starting number 63 today. Now, Hu of China, you picked up on earlier on, who missed one but was still skiing fast.
Indeed, again, skiing. She's caught time back after her penalty.
What do you make of the position?
It's a relaxed position she has, and they really are well drilled and do many hours of dry firing. That's just holding the rifle. A lot of tension in the back, if you like, on a big curve on the spine, but it looked to be comfortable.
Now here is Linda Scherholm. How's it going? 7:20. She's quick. Oh no, that could be her chance gone. Needs this final one to stay in with a chance of a top 5. 7:30. She would have been out, and she would have had a quicker time than Kati Beer and Kati Wilhelm. So that's a real shame for Scherholm, but it's still reasonably quick, Mike. I think maybe a possible podium finish if she can just go clean on the standing.
And that's exactly what Scherholm knows indeed. Odd Leurhus, the Norwegian coach, as Holopakova is coming in. And she will take heart from this, I believe, with leading into a 2-week break period for the biathlon tour. Holopakova can work on her ski speed during that period. But this is very good from the Czech athlete. One target missed. 1 minute 29 behind. But remember, Wilhelm was 54 seconds ahead of anybody else.
Sandrine Bailly also got a sister in the start list today, just 21-year-old. Sandrine, number 1 in the French team. 5th in the standings at the moment. This is good. This is very good, and the ski time's impressive as well, Mike. I have a suspicion that it may be getting a little bit quicker.
Could well be, certainly the indications. Remember, it was dry snow falling at the start. This has now turned a little bit wetter. The glide factor will have increased just a little bit. But this is a good comeback. Sandrine Bailly, just 2 days ago, had a terrible time on the range.
Great skis, fantastic skis. She was over that bridge without any effort at all. I think the French technicians have nailed the wax conditions today. Pick the right structure, pick the right set of skis, and then put the right wax on them. It's a difficult combination to get right. Arpel coming in, 3 misses early on, but she's kept pushing. 23.50 the time. Germany dominating the top 6 at the moment, but we've still got some talented athletes out there.
Some problems. Achateva. That was a good comeback. She had a problem pressing the round forward. She relaxed, she didn't panic, built her position again, and a very steady 5 with 5. Ski time, it's a little bit down, but she can pick that up in the next 5 kilometres. At least she doesn't have to turn right onto the penalty loop, and that's a fantastic feeling. You go straight on, don't waste time, don't turn right, get over that bridge as fast as you can. The Finnish athlete, Perunka, has gone through the prone shooting. 50 seconds behind on a clear shoot. Mihokova. Many years Mihokova has been one of the top 3, top 4 on the range within the Female Biathlon World Cup. She's putting it together again today. She missed that first one. Curse of the commentator. not going well.
Wilhelm will stay top then with that performance by Mihokova. Now let's see what Martina Glago's managed to do over the closing stages. She would have been very, very tight to Wilhelm's time had she hit all the targets. One miss in the standing, 22.47. She's after that time of Zabrilova's of 23.02. She's going to make it. Excellent run, and Glago goes second. Germany 1 and 2. Belarus pushed down a third now, 46.6 outside Wilhelm's time. But we do know that Sandrine Bay is out on the course and chasing very hard indeed. Olga Pilieva yet to shoot for the first time. She'll be in soon. Not such a good shoot for Shona Usova today. 3 out of 5 in the standing, and she is out of contention for a win. Here comes Olga Pilieva. Look how she just puts the ski onto an edge, accelerating through the turn. Beautiful smooth skiing from Pilieva. Now, Natalie Santa, once upon a time the best of the Italians, went up to her peak form just after she got together with Oleana Bjorndalen. But since then, things have fallen away, and the standing shoot has been the problem.
Come on, Natalie. She's really fighting this, trying to get recovery, hold the position. Ow.
Olofsson of Sweden settling nearer the camera, and this is a big moment for Olofsson. Once Santa gets that final shot away, 3 out of 5 for Santa. Now let's cue in on Olofsson's target. That first one's gone wide. That is a real shame, because that time was good, 15.29. She could have been inside that. Top 10 is what she's after. As many top 10s for the season, and eventually the win should come. Oh, that's a shame. 300 metres extra for Anna Olofsson, and Sweden's best chance of a win has gone missing again.
Well, Leif Andersson, Swedish coach, he was one of the best biathletes around in the early to late 80s, in fact through to the mid 90s.
So from the best of the Swedes to the best of the Italians. Michaela Ponza, well ranked in the world standings, 14th place. And that is why, look at the smile on her face. She knows that was good. It was quick as well. 7.57, not the fastest, but Ponza is after another top 10 run. She started the season brilliantly with a 6th and an 11th in Beiderstolen. And then she's been hovering around 14-15 since then, but had an excellent run in the pursuit run in Östersund, so maybe that's where she'll make her charge in the pursuit tomorrow. Simone Denkinger, the last starter for the top Germans. 4 out of 5. Simone really needs to clear, because her teammates have been performing brilliantly. Beer and Wilhelm in 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Sandrine Bay of France, the leader after the first shoot. Any of the latest start numbers come through, Mike, at that stage?
It's just Michaela Ponza, but shooting perfect, 45.5 seconds behind in 11th place. Chance to see Denkinger's targets go down. And the little customary smile on her face. But not a happy thought going round that penalty loop. What can Linda do?
Ski time again is good. Take away the 25 seconds for that miss in the first loop.
You can see the sticker Sirdal on her, just below her sights. That's their club she races for. It's another miss, but skiing fast. The Sirdal club is just down south of Stavanger. Very good club in the Norwegian rankings.
Now, is this going to be France's day? More technical problems for Sandrine Bay, but she's settled it now. Hope she's not using Poiret's rifle. Taking her time. Now, She's got a minute still to get inside Wilhelm's time, so she can afford that miss, just about. But no more, I think the chance has gone. What a shame. She could have stood on the range for an extra 30 seconds, brought the pulse down. I think really that is a sign that the French weren't quite on the ball there, because I'm sure she would have taken more time had they known that she had 35 seconds in hand.
But what a speed, Patrick. What an amount of time ahead of Wilhelm's incredible time. So Sandrine, she doesn't look like she's overstressed there physically. But 3 penalties when she could have gone out in the lead by, 25 seconds, had all those 5 shots gone down.
It looks as though Bailly is coming to a peak, and it's not quite the perfect time in the season. They'll be taking a break after this, and then the next round of the World Cup back in Italy on the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th of February. And then, of course, we go to Pokluka for the 16th. And the World Championships, well, they're going to be in March this year. The last of the World Cups taking place in Khanty-Mansiysk at the end of the season, 17th of March, once the World Championships are finished. Now, are we going to see another clear shoot? Albina Akhятova, just what she needs to kick-start her season.
Now, Akhятova getting good recovery in between her stomach pumps 3 times.
Second in the world standings in 2003. That was the sort of form she showed then. She has gone clear and now is out chasing Kati Wilhelm's time. Henkel coming in to finish for Germany. She's probably going to get herself in the top 10. 23.50 is not going to be beaten from Arpel. Lou survives in 10th, and Ishmaradova survives as well. So Henkel just misses out on a top 10, but it's very, very tight between 7 and 10. So those athletes are going to have a great fight in tomorrow's pursuit. What about Akhятova? 16.04. She's 35 seconds down, but only 2 seconds behind the time of Zabrilova.
There's going to be a big fight up there. There's Sandrine Bailly. She's 47 seconds behind the leader, but only 13 behind second place. And Sandrine, although she missed 3 targets, she's got the best skiing time so far. Could move up into second or third place. Linda Scherholm as well. She's got 11 seconds from leaving the range to get into second place. Pick up 11 seconds in the final 2.5 kilometres.
Well, it's been an excellent couple of weeks for Kati Wilhelm, Mike. Just looking down her results from Oberhof, where she finished 3rd in the sprint, 2nd in the pursuit. She then went to Ruhpolding, where she got 8th in the sprint, 4th in the pursuit. And here she is leading the way in the women's sprint event here in Antholz. And she's got a big enough margin to think that she might take the win in the pursuit tomorrow as well. But we're still waiting to see what Bailly can do. I don't believe she can pick up enough time to take the win, but certainly she can move from her current position of 7th up to 4th, possibly ahead of Martina Glago.
Well, I think she could even get up into second, which means 14 seconds in this 2.5 kilometres for Bailly.
So those were the standings at the finish. Had to be lightning quick to read them. Kati Wilhelm looking very, very good. One difference between Wilhelm and Bjorndalen, Mike, is Bjorndalen's always pumping the leg down onto the snow. You see him drive it down and forwards. Wilhelm a little more gentle. I'm wondering whether you think that she'd benefit from being a little more aggressive.
I think that is a real possibility, and Oleana uses his upper body to drop onto his ski post just a little bit more than Kati, but great time. She's leading by 46 seconds to Glago, then Zubrilova 54 behind that, but I think things might change.
Look at that, 2 Chinese in the top 10, and of course we've got Poland in there as well, Russia, the Czech Republic, all sorts of nations making it. Good to see Zina Kocher, who we didn't pick up on. She's in 15th at the moment, 2:05 off the leaders. Anna Sprung, who went early on, pushed down to 17th now with 3 misses. Jill Krause of the United States is skiing very quickly indeed. 18th place, 3 misses on the day. Now, Olga Pilieva, her first prone shoot, a disaster by her standards. This is all about damage limitation. Just what the doctor ordered. Excellent stuff. Olga Pilieva shows what she can really do. She's missed 2 for the day, but that certainly won't rule her out of a top 5 finish. Wilhelm's time just too quick to touch, and I don't think we can see anyone as yet who's put up a realistic challenge. Now we've got all sorts of drama, and believe it or not, the World Cup leader, Olga Pilieva, has been taken down just as she comes in.
Well, when you're focused on your race, on getting out as fast as you can, the athletes are coming round to the finish, and all they're thinking about is the finish line. I did wonder when I saw the layout of this track, if a situation like that could happen, and it's happened to the best biathlete in the world. Coach does not look impressed.
Well, this is what happened. You've got Pilieva coming out of the range area. One of the Bulgarians coming off the penalty loop, and I'm afraid that the fault lies with the person on the penalty loop, because the person who's gone clear can hold their line. As you come off the penalty loop, you've got to either make sure you can turn or just go wide. She didn't need to slow down, but I don't think she even saw Pilieva.
She did not see the Moldovan, I think it was Gorohova, and she was only focused on getting out of that penalty loop. What a pity for Pilieva.
Well, that's cost her certainly 15 seconds of time, and probably taken away a minute's worth of energy, because that would have given her quite a shock, apart from anything else. So we'll wait and see what sort of damage that has done to Pilieva. Will there be a protest at that, or is that just part of the game?
The only protest, I think, will be about the layout. Possibly coming off the penalty loop, you need more access, a wider area.
Too great an angle.
Yeah,
too great an angle. They need to feed it in very narrow.
Possibly even put flags out there to keep people away from that tight spot.
Take your mind back to the British Championships at all?
Yes, were you involved with that one? Similar situation.
A crossroads, which didn't prove to be too successful. I think course designers can learn from what we've seen today. Here's Denkinger now. How's her challenge developed? 43 seconds outside. That's not too bad. She, in fact, keeping her margin behind the leader after that first loop. So she's keeping pace with Kari Wilhelm, which must bring her up into the top 4 by the end of the day.
And a further 10 seconds for Denkinger, and she's in 3rd place by the end of the race, if that's possible, and I'm sure she'll be gunning for that.
The standings at the end at the moment. We know all about Wilhelm, who leads, 22.07 her time. Scherholm has skied herself into 2nd place. We suggested she might be quick, but not quite that quick. 38 seconds down.
It really is getting a little bit faster under the skis. It certainly is. Temperature's dropping down now. The glide factor increasing, and let's have a look at this girl's ski time.
Yeah, look at Bay. This is a phenomenal ski. Take away a minute at the very least for the 3 penalty loops, probably a minute and 10 seconds, and you can see just how quick this would have been. Wilhelm is safe with 22.07. 22.46 from Scherholm, just survives. Klargo's going to be pushed down one. Great ski from Bay. She's 3 misses on the day. She knows that if it had only been 1, then the day would have belonged to her. What a shame. Number 65, the Bulgarian Filipova, coming through. Another top 10 performance perhaps from her. Great to see Holovachova up in 9th. Filipova goes 10. Beer now pushed out of the top 10 positions, having started early on today, and she looked very strong indeed. Albina Akhmatova, one of few to go clear in these difficult conditions in Antholz, but she hasn't got the ski speed of the likes of Sandrine Bailly, who has produced an absolutely fantastic ski. 52 seconds behind for Akhmatova.
Well, I think Akhmatova will be, although disappointed not to be on the podium, she must be happier with her form here, and it's certainly well placed to get up into the medals in the pursuit race tomorrow. I think Denkinger can move up the 10 seconds that she needs.
Here comes Olga Pilieva, looks to have recovered from that collision that she had as she came out of the range area. So strong in the core areas, I think we can call them, or the key areas they're sometimes known as in physiotherapy terms, the muscles basically that attach to your pelvis. Such control for Pilieva.
A lot of power in there without a doubt. I'm just wondering now, when she fell right back onto the rifle, the wooden rifle stock. I'm just wondering if that could well have affected her bedding screws, which pull the metal barrel down into the wooden stock.
Great ski from Tora Berger, who no one's picked up on so far. She's gone through 22.03. She's not going to beat Wilhelm, but a possible top 5 for the young Norwegian. And certainly, Mike, everyone's getting much better glide up the ski. The moisture that was in the snow overnight has started to freeze now, with the temperature dropping a little. And if the snow stops, they're going to be brilliantly quick.
This is going to be second place for Berger. Her form is on the up, and increasingly up. Could be her first podium.
So Berger, who's down in 23rd position in the World Cup, she's done a whole lot better than that today. She's going to push Sjöholm down to 3rd. Norway 2 and 3. Kati Wilhelm stays top for now. But my goodness, if Berger shoots like this tomorrow, she will put up a challenge for the pursuit on Sunday.
What a performance there.
Well, she knew she was racing for a podium finish. I haven't seen her turn it on like that all season. Simone Denkinger trying to get some information, but she doesn't look quite as urgent as the 2 Norwegians who've just finished. And I wonder how her progress is on the last lap. 43 seconds behind she was. She's now 50 seconds down, Denkinger, at the last split point that we have. Now, is another Norwegian going to come through?
Not having missed that shot. 20-odd seconds penalty now.
World Cup points the aim for Norstad. That means finishing in the top 30. And she won't be too far off that.
Impressive for a young biathlete being introduced to the World Cup. Pilieva missing 2 on the prone. I mean, her shooting lately has been the best.
A minute 33 off the leaders. Remember, she's 71 points clear of Zaitsev in the World Cup standing, so Olga Pilieva will stay top. She's got another 200 metres or so to go up into the stadium, break right, but giving away valuable points to the woman who's currently lying in 3rd, Kati Wilhelm, just 75 points behind, and we could see that lead cut to around 50. It will all depend where Olga Pilieva finishes the day.
This is good from Slovenia. Another Slovenian, Grigorin. We've seen her do well in the relay, taking bronze, but well, delighted with the top 15 and well placed for tomorrow's pursuit. Confidence is building for the Slovenians.
Well, while we wait for Olga Pilieva to come in, Mike, which way do you think the overall World Cup is going to go this year? It's a fascinating situation. Pilieva, Zaitsev, Wilhelm, Diesel and Bayi, the top 5.
Well, and with Zubrilova coming back into form, I think Zubrilova from now on is going to be a strong force right the way through to the end of March.
Well, if she is, she'll put Pilieva under some pressure. Down into 15th for Pilieva, so she's only going to pick up 16 points at the very most today.
You know, she lost 15 seconds from that fall, and that's a difference of 15th place right the way up to 9th place.
Well, let's hope that that doesn't have a bearing on the outcome of the overall World Cup, but I get a horrible feeling it might well do come the end of the year.
Those points are so precious, and to have an outside influence knock you back those 6 or 7 places, that hurts. Ponza. Oh, another collision so close there on the junction.
Michaela Ponza coming in with one of the French skiers. It's Delphine Perretto. Ponza the quicker of the 2. 9 out of 10. She's in the top 10 again. What a fantastic season Ponza's having. I think she could be worth a bet for Torino 2006. The Olympic Games held at altitude, just like here in Antholz. I think that's what she's been building towards.
Without a doubt, and especially with her shooting skills, no matter what the pressure, Ponza is one of the athletes who control it. Did miss one today.
Here comes Denkinger into the finish, 23.03.04. She's going to be another top 10 finisher. The Italian will be pushed out of the top rankings. Denkinger 58 seconds behind. She's got a realistic chance of taking a podium finish in tomorrow's pursuit. Welcome back to Antholz. The race not quite over yet, but it is Kati Wilhelm who's in control here in Italy. Having shot clear, she's produced a time of 22:07. No one's been able to match that so far. The two young Norwegians, Berger and Sjöholm, excellent skiing. Berger has gone through just 26 seconds behind in second place. Sjöholm, well, two misses, has produced the fastest ski of the day so far, with Sandrine Bailly round about the same speed, maybe 1 or 2 seconds slower.
Indeed, a fast time from Sandrine. Well, Saskia Santer's time on the range, but missed one already. I think she can take a lot from this result. Her position is good at the moment, and she'll reflect on the missed target. Let's hope there's no more. Yes, clear. 4 out of 5. So the Italians are on the way up, with Ponza leading. Now Saskia Santer, only missing one target.
Now, Mike, I don't quite understand when Natalie Santer spends all her time, obviously, with Oleana Bjorndalen, why he can't help her to improve the standing shooting, and the same for Sasha. Surely information is the key thing, or do you think it's natural talent?
There is a large element of natural talent, but if you train for something as difficult as this, steadying a rifle and then adding the physical stress, then the pressure, there is an element of being able to cope with that, but many training methods to help you deal with that. But I think in the end with Natalie, it's a little bit within the mind of the fact that she misses the odd target, doesn't have total belief in herself, and that is a big issue. Hopefully that will come back towards the end of this season and for the Olympics next year. She has the ability to be up there and possibly even in the medals at the Olympics. Natalie Santer.
Jacqueline of France coming in to finish. It all fell apart a little on her standing shoot. 2 misses, too expensive for someone of her skiing speed, and she's just missed out on World Cup points. She'll be bitterly disappointed with that. So will Jill Krause of the United States, who's currently lying in 32nd. It can only get worse for her as the last few starters come across the line. 2 British skiers out on the course today. Adele Turner, who went very early on, number 4, and Emma Fowler, who started number 58. And Fowler's been on a pretty good run of results, but not going her way today.
Sadly not today, missing 2 in the pro and then clear in the stand. She's in 63rd, so will not start tomorrow. Adele Turner, 2-2, and she's down in 72nd place, so she won't start in the pursuit.
Well, that's not the sort of news we were after, but have to congratulate this woman, Kati Wilhelm. Absolutely flying today, flowing very nicely. I think the skis were good. She's gone reasonably early on, so she didn't have the fastest conditions, but looking strong, looking determined. I don't think we've seen her work this hard all season.
And the day that Kati hits all the targets, and that is today, her ski speed is always in the top 5 of the Women's World Cup. And put those two together, the perfect shooting, always top 5 skiing, and there we are, a victory when it goes together on the range.
Another young Norwegian coming through, Jori Mørkve. Apologies if I got the pronunciation of her name wrong. We'll work on that. I guess we're going to see a little more of her as the season goes on. There's Lerova. Lots of delays in the standing shooting, and it hasn't produced the best results. Those who've hit the targets have adopted a nice rhythm and kept their nerve.
As you say, it is trying to hold the nerve. It's just strong discipline to stick to a routine, to stick to what you normally do in training, not to do anything different under the pressure situation here. But not easy at all. Easy to talk about, but when you're out there, your heart is beating, you're gasping for air. Thin air up here as well. It's a difficult combination.
Well, the Chinese certainly seem to have cracked it. They've had another good day today. Liu missing a couple of 3 targets, in fact, but proving that she's as quick as anyone out on the course. Hu also skiing very quickly indeed. And while we watch Demetz of Italy on her second shoot, Mike, you've been saying how hard the Chinese have been training, but I know from my skiing days a few centuries back that Gundes Fan always stuck rigidly not only to his training program, but each year he'd increase the training load by only 3 to 5%, no more than that, because he knew it was dangerous to overdo it. The Chinese, from what we learn, have absolutely almost doubled their training load. So how does the body cope, and how long can they last?
But that's the aspect, isn't it? Is how many years can you keep going? Demets, Romina putting a good performance in there on the range. So it's an unknown. I think that if they keep on going like this, pushing as hard as they have been, there will be a burnout, a drop-off. But possibly if there's a lot of other athletes coming through, as a country, as a team, you can maybe afford to do that. But they're certainly inspired and putting it together at the moment. That's what matters.
Well, right on cue here is one of the Chinese. And with no reference to the Chinese, another issue that's been coming up on the emails, Mike, is the issue of drug testing. I guess we have to be realistic and face it, but there is a much more rigid program in place. Likes of Oleana Bjorndalen astonish us day after day with brilliant ski results, but as a finisher in the top 3 in most races, he's getting tested more regularly than anyone else.
He is. Every time that he's on the podium in the top 3, he's been tested. I believe they're testing further down to even top 10, and then randomly 3 people. So biathlon is a sport which prides itself in doing so much testing on a weekly basis, on a World Cup basis, and I think that is a great aspect. And it just gives you confidence that there aren't any old dodgy tactics going on.
Dodgy. I mean, do you think there's been a problem in the past, or do you think they've kept on top of it pretty much?
Well, difficult one to answer that. I'm sure, as in all sports, we see it at the Summer Olympics, we see it in all sports. You can never say that a sport is totally clean, sadly. I would love to say one day that all sports could be clean, but I like the way that biathlon are trying to control that aspect of it.
Now let's focus on Murkva, who missed one in the prone. Nice solid position, but it's just not working at the moment. Julie Carraz of France on her last shoot as well. And 2 more loops for Murkva, but the time is okay. She's not going to finish in the top 30 now. It was a possibility after that first shoot, but she's got some important experience, and if she can just keep herself in the top 60, she'll have a run in the pursuit tomorrow. And the pursuit, one of the highlights of each round of the World Cup. Almost, we've had 6 sprints now, 6 pursuits, and as the years go on, I can't see that format changing. I think we may see even more mass starts, although you have that problem that we've discussed many times. I think we should put the numbers game to rest, how many people should start in a race, but with only 30 starters, it's a little bit elitist and doesn't give those outside the top 30 in the World Cup a chance to gain any points.
That's right, and teams spend a lot of money to be here at the World Cups, and I think with 2/3 of the field not able to race, that would not be a popular situation.
But you have to admit it is a brilliant spectacle and really exciting. No mass start here in Antholz. It's the pursuit tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Oleana Bjorndalen will be starting first in the men's, and well, maybe he can make it yet another win. He's after his 50th World Cup win. If he can do it tomorrow, that will be some occasion. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the end of this women's sprint. Conrad of the United States heading out. 111 on the start list today, but as we mentioned earlier on, Elena Petrova of the Ukraine not racing, so only 110 taking part. The majority of those, the first 67, as you can see, are all through to the finish, and just the last few going through the standing chute, and a few of the crowd starting to disappear towards the entertainment tents, but let's hope they hang around. We've still got Natalia Guseva, Mike, who started number 97.
Just trying to pick up where Guseva is right now. Had expected her to go well here today. Certainly not in the top 15.
So no sign of Guseva. Pavkov, Chukova, 4:01 off the lead. Just 50 seconds, so 3:10, 3:15 slower than the best skiers. She's a kilometre behind, so over 10% slower than the best skiers, which gives her a massive disadvantage.
Tomorrow's race is definitely going to be one exciting spectacle. There's 1 minute separating the top 15. Perunka in 14th place, 1 minute behind, with Kachibir just ahead of her. Ivanova, Makarova, Bailly, Scherholm, Denkinger, Gvisdon, Glago, Akhятova, Zubrilova, Berger and Wilhelm. So all within 1 minute. Big names, big action.
Yeah, and well, here is Guseva. We found her at last. 4 misses. That's why we can't find her on the results sheet. A very, very poor prone shoot by her standards. And I wonder what's going wrong.
Well, she's nothing like the form she was here last year. Remember how dynamic she was, how strong she was. But you can just see the body language not flowing, not balanced as well as she was.
Yeah, she looks tired. She's in a rush to get off each ski. The knee collapsing as well. It's just a little untidy, and she's outside the top 70, beaten by Britain's Emma Fowler. 26:02 the time for Guseva, but I imagine her spirits dropped to the lowest possible level after that first shoot, missing 3. So no change at the top. Here are the top 8. Wilhelm, Berger, Scherholm likely to be the medal winners today here in Antholz. The bulk of the money going to them. Sandrine Bay, fabulous ski, 3 mistakes and pushing her down into 4th. Martina Glago, 9 out of 10, 46 seconds behind. She could be worth a little wager for tomorrow's pursuit, because if she's on any form at all, she should hit 19 or 20 of tomorrow's targets. So remember, the start of the pursuit determined by the finish order of the sprint, and the same for the men as well. And we mentioned early on Bjorndalen, Mike, 49 World Cup wins. Tomorrow he could win number 50. He's already won the most World Cups of any winter sport, and that includes the likes of Velber of Russia, and of course Bjorndalen, his compatriot, who won, I think, 48 World Cups in cross-country before he retired. Bjorndalen could do it tomorrow. What do you think would be an appropriate reward for his achievements?
Well, you've just stated how brilliant that is. Beat all of the best to take, if he takes his victory tomorrow, I think a little golden rifle or a little golden ski. But certainly it needs to be remembered, because I'm not sure there'll ever be anyone who can do that again.
I don't think there's any doubt in our mind that he will take 50 eventually. It may not happen tomorrow. The pursuit is a very difficult one to win. But before the end of this season, surely he's going to wrap up that 50. And then the question is, how far can he go? What keeps the man motivated? Why does he keep doing it? Because it's not particularly pleasant putting in 4 or 5 hours of hard training a day.
And as we just read yesterday, he puts in sometimes 4 sessions a day, 1,600 hours of training each year. And they did a survey of all the best athletes in Norway from all sports, summer and winter, and Bjorndalen by far out trains any of them, and maybe that is why he is so great. It can be a little bit of a negative reflection with kids thinking, oh, I have to put in thousands of hours, which can get this overtraining notion coming in, but it works for Bjorndalen, and that's what makes him so great.
Numan Hakala coming in to finish for Finland, the best of the Finns today. Sanna-Lena Perunka, who's lying in 14th place. She really is coming back to form. She's at 10 out of 10. She's only a minute off the pace, so she's got a chance of putting herself up into the top 10, maybe even the top 5 tomorrow. Lu of China, 4 misses. They've all shot badly for some extraordinary reason in today's sprint event, the Chinese, but they've all proved that when they shoot clear, they are going to be a threat to the lead, because they're very quick indeed.
The Chinese, their expectations are high. They want to be on that podium again. They saw it last week with Lu, and I think in some ways that's what's putting them under self-pressure on the range.
So Perdia of Romania comes in, another of those who's missed too many targets today. 3 misses, 1 prone, 2 standing, 26.01, and outside the top 60 positions. So that wraps up our coverage from Antholz. It's been another brilliant race, but no one could quite match the ski speed of Kati Wilhelm. 10 out of 10, and she gets the win and will start first in tomorrow's pursuits. And we've already mentioned Bjorn Dahlen, who will start for the men. Well, I hope you join us tomorrow for the last day of action from here in Antholz. Thanks for watching. Thanks also to Mike Dixon, the expert commentator. We'll see you soon.